Welcome back to MCM Outdoors, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. I'm back out, and the first thing you're probably going to notice is it's a really windy day. There's 40-mile-an-hour plus gusts forecast for later on, and it's not going to let up. It's going to be all overnight, so it's going to make for a very interesting video. I've not come too far afield. The price of fuel at the moment is a nightmare, so yes, that's having a bit of a restrictive sort of factor in terms of where I'm heading to at the moment, but it's going to be just as enjoyable. And I brought the Scarp one. I've not got the crossover poles today, so it's going to be a good test for it. It's probably the worst weather in terms of wind I've ever used it in, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to find a bit of shelter on the top, and yes, we've got a nice meal to cook up later. No boil in the bag today, inspired by Stripey Hat Guy. Got a nice few beers, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's go on with a walk. Well, I found a nice spot just to have a little bit of a breather, and this wall behind me is really offering some good protection from the wind. There's a really strong east-northeasterly breeze, like I say, in excess of 40-mile-an-hour gusts, so I can really hear the wind battering that. And if I stand up straight away, you'll be able to hopefully hear the difference in the mic. There's a bit of a dead cat on there protecting it, but yeah, you sit back down again. And there we go, it's just perfect shelter from that wind. So it would be nice to camp here. It's not the highest spot, but it's out the way. It's not immediately on a path or anything like that, and I'm in a really sort of deserted part of the northwest where I am here. But it's a bit early, so what I'm going to do is just bear this spot in mind, have 5 or 10 minutes break, take on board some water. I'm going to explore a bit further up on the top. I don't think there's going to be any more shelter. So whilst the Scarp is a 4-season tent, and I've got no doubts whatsoever that it can handle sort of 40-50-mile-an-hour winds, I'm not going to intentionally pitch there. Lessons learned over the years, and I'd like to get a little bit of sleep. So if it's the difference between camping a little bit lower down and having the shelter of this wall, or being a bit higher up just for the sake of it, but being on a completely exposed plateau, you've got to take some compromises and make sensible decisions. Obviously there's no danger whatsoever. We're in the middle of summer, we're not on sheer cliffs or edges, and it's not -10 outside. It's a lovely warm day, but just get into that habit of decision making the right decisions, and then you'll subconsciously kind of do that when you're camping in some of the colder months of the year. So yeah, 5 or 10 minutes break, a little bit more exploration, and we'll bear this in mind just for a bit of a fallback position if needs be. Speak to you in a bit. Well, it's a lot windier here. Yeah, there's no real shelter. You might recognise behind me, favourite hill of mine, from a different angle. So I'm just gonna get to this highest point, have a little look, but I've pretty much made up my mind. Because I'm a bit early, if I do end up going back there, I'm just going to chill out by my pack for a bit. I won't set up the tent, and I'm just going to make the most of this sunshine before the cloud and a bit of bad weather heads in this evening. So we'll have one last look, just make sure that there's definitely nowhere on this highest place, and if not, we'll go back to plan B. Well, if there's any Most Haunted fans amongst you, and I am unashamed to admit it, I've got all the box sets from the old series with Derek Akura, and those of you that watch the channel will know I love Pendle Hill because of the history of the area and the history of the Pendle Witches in particular. It's really sort of magical, It's got a real nice feeling about the place, especially in late autumn. But anyway, I'm looking down to quite an infamous location. Back in 2000, the team went to go and visit Pendle Hill, and they did a Halloween live here. I remember watching that with my sister, coming back from my little part-time job at the time, and we were just transfixed to the TV watching the events unfold. I don't know, people might say it's a load of rubbish, but you know, each to their own. I enjoy it. But one of the locations they visited on that night was Tarptent Farm, and there's quite a lot of history of that building. I'll turn you around. It's going to be pretty poor in terms of the fixed focal length on this camera, but I'm looking down to it now, and yeah, it does bring a bit of a chill to the old bones looking down to Tarptent. Now it's just there. Don't know whether I can, that's as much as I can zoom in. Now you can see a group of trees. If in the editing software I can get it a bit clearer, I will. There's a group of trees and a bit of a track that winds its way down. There's a dark stone building, and that is Tarptent Farm. Yes, the infamous one. Lots of spooky things happen there. So there you go. I think I've decided that I'm going to be definitely going back to the last spot. There's not enough shelter here, it's too exposed. It's a lovely spot, lovely expansive views, but yeah, it makes sense to grab a bit of shelter where I can. So I've just taken the last of these views, and I'll get back and we'll get the tent pitched. So the pack I'm using today is the Thunder 50 by Exped. I got this with some money for my 40th birthday. I really enjoy using it. It's fitted everything in. I've even put my water bottles inside. I know, yes, it's got pockets there. That's what it's designed for, but you know, I just like the profile of it, nice and slim, and I had the room, so I didn't want to upset that really. So yeah, great pack. This Green Light Movement by Lost Explorers, you might have seen posts on Instagram. It's for solo hikers who don't mind other people tagging along. You got one of them on, just pop over and say hello. If you ever see me and I've got that on, come and say hi. Yeah, you know, anyone who's ever seen the videos as well, you fancy saying hello, please do so. Come and get your face on one of the vids if you want. So it's time to get into this and get the kit out. So pitch wise, that's pretty much it. I brought the trekking poles with me because what I'm going to do is, there's a guy on the head and the foot end. I'm just going to use that just to pull the fabric away and just create a little bit more space between the inner and the fly sheet. You don't have to do that, but yeah, there's it's just something I prefer to do when I can. So yeah, it's a bit flappy. Most tents are in the wind, simple as that really. You know, you've got these straps which are used to attach the crossover poles, which I do not think are necessary in these conditions. Most people say they're for snow loading. I also think it adds some stability in strong winds. It would be a little bit quieter with that added, but you know, I don't really mind. You come out for the fun and the adventure. You know, we're not staying in a 5-star hotel, and let's face it, this is even better. So yeah, I've got fabulous views right outside the tent door. This pitch is absolutely spot on. It's pretty much flat, slightly elevated at the head end, just how I like it. And yes, fantastic views out across to the coast. So I'm going to make the finishing touches. I'm not going to bother with the side guy lines, it's not needed because we've got the protection of this wall, but the wind really is picking up. But yeah, it's what it's all about. Now the shelter's up, feel great. So we're all set up, apart from the thermarest and my sleeping bag. I don't need to get them out yet. As is customary on my vids, I'm just going to show you more for the benefits of any new subscribers or anyone new to wild camping. I just do a quick fly around of what I brought with me on this one. You can see hanging up there, especially at this time of year. An eye mask, it's invaluable, weighs next to nothing. When you're in a nice light coloured tent like this, when the sun rises, it's just after 4:30 I think at the moment. Yeah, you want to get some sleep, so bring an eye mask. So I will show you what I've got in terms of food and beer and talk you through the bits of kit as I'm using it. So food wise on this, we'll start with the beers. We've got some new ones, you'll be pleased to know. Cold Town beer, Porn Star Martini Ale. I know the real ale purist amongst you will be horrified, but I've never had that and I thought I'd mix things up a little bit. So yes, I'm looking forward to trying that. And we've got this Chock-a-Clock Chocolate Stout by Stewart Brewing, based in Edinburgh in Scotland. Another sort of abstract one, Peach and Raspberry Double Dirigible Smoothie IPA, 7.3% by the Drygate Brewery. It's probably going to be horrible, but I thought we'd try it anyway, so there you go. There's that. Inspired by Stripey Hat Guy. Cheap as chips. We've got some smoked sausage from Lidl. We've got some chicken flavoured rice, again from Lidl. And, you know, one of your 5 a day. No innuendos. A courgette, which we're going to slice up and have with that. Snack wise, we've just got some peanuts for later. And that is it. That is all we've got in terms of food and drink on this one. But that'll be more than enough to keep me going. Well, it's coming up to 6:30 and it's about time to try the first beer. So here we go, without further ado, let's get it. A little bit of a different one. Got to mix things up. I'll spin you around, we'll have a closer look and then we'll get into it. Porn Star Martini Ale. I have never drank a Porn Star Martini in my life. I don't know what they taste like. I know it's a cocktail, but yeah, it's not my kind of drink really, but you know, in the spirit of mixing things up, I've taken the plunge on it. Let's see what it's like. Ooh. Slight frothage, and it smells not like your average beer. It smells like a fruit, like Kiora or something. Well, it's definitely not beer. Yeah, well, it's nice and refreshing, something a little bit different. Well, yeah, in Lidl, if you fancy it, go and see if there's any left. There probably is. I'm going to enjoy this, just take in some more of these views, and it'll be time to get tea on. That's frying away nicely there, just browning them off. And what I'm going to do now is just add this rice, fry that for another 5 minutes or so, and eat it out the pan. And it's really simple and it's quite tasty, so it's a lot cheaper than the old dehydrated meals, so one to bear in mind. Get a little bit of courgette on there, a little bit of rice as well. So there, got a bit of everything. Just let it cool down. Really nice. You could add a bit of paprika or some different flavourings or seasonings if you wanted to, just to mix it up a bit, but just goes to show that you don't have to spend a lot to have a tasty meal when you're out wild camping. So I'm going to eat this in peace, drink the rest of my beer, and I'll bring you back when tea's done. Cheers everyone. So in terms of this little frying pan, I'm really impressed with it. As you can see, there's no burn bits whatsoever. There's no food stuck to that at all. Yeah, I did put a bit of oil in it, but you know, I've found previously with other frying pans I've had, you know, you get real heat spots. The heat is quite spread out in this, so it's, you know, it's done its job. I know you can get more expensive versions, and you know, when times are tight, this is good value, nice and solid. That handle's great. I look forward to using it on a few more camps, but I'm really impressed with that. I think Fire Maple have done a good job. Cracking little pan, and just the right size for one as well. I know, I look really cool. Yeah, I just can't help it. I've turned the buff into a hat. Just a little online search how to do that, because I haven't brought a warm hat. I've misjudged the temperatures, which have really dropped. But yes, lovely scenery. There's loads of lenticular clouds, lens shaped clouds, because this rain, there's loads of lenticular clouds because this wind, it's hitting the terrain and it's acting like a big ramp, and it's pushing waves of air which condense into those lenticular shapes, which you can see in the sky behind me. They often form over mountainous areas. Oh, well, that wind is absolutely brutal. So definitely made the right decision to camp using the shelter of this wall. I wouldn't have liked to be on the exposed moorlands plateau behind me. It'd be absolutely brutal all night and probably zero sleep. Anyway, I'm going to save the chocolate stout till last. We are on second beer of the day, double dirigible smoothie IPA. I'm not sure on this, peach and raspberry. Let's open it out here just in case. It's not my normal bag, to be fair, but like I said earlier, I'm just mixing it up a little bit so it doesn't get too boring. Okay, so that smells all right. Oh my dear God. The last bit of the description, tart. Smooth, juicy, fruity tart. I mean, that is ultimate tart. That's almost sour. That is horrendous. Oh my God. Ugh. Don't ever buy that. That is absolutely horrible. It's the worst thing I've tasted. I'm going to drink it though. I'll bring you back in a bit. That's the last of the light going now. It's just dropping into that bank of cloud, and yeah, the wind chill is significant, so I'm glad I've at least brought this down jacket, the synthetic down jacket. But what a nice camp it's been so far. The wind's made it really interesting. Scarp's performing really well, and yeah, had a really enjoyable time so far. Got one beer left because I chucked the other one, it just wasn't drinkable. Just take a few snaps now, just do a couple of little checks around the tent, make sure it's nice and tight, and yeah, speak to you in a bit. Right, so hopefully you can see me there. It's pretty hard to frame the shot on the camera that I'm using today, but hopefully you enjoyed that sunset. It was absolutely spectacular. I really did, and sometimes you just get lucky, especially in this part of the UK, just overlooking the coast. So spot on, loads of lenticular clouds, often mistaken in days gone by for UFOs because of their distinctive lens shape. But yeah, absolutely priceless moments again in our great outdoors, and I'm glad I've captured it on camera and can hopefully convey a bit of what I've just enjoyed to everyone who's watching this video. So nice and cozy in the tent now, although I've pretty much lost all my dexterity. My phone battery's completely died, such as the wind chill out there now. So final beer, I chucked the other one away like I mentioned. It wasn't for me, so no offence to the brewery, it's just not my particular beer. So just finishing up on a chocolate stout. This is also from Lidl, and yeah, well, it's a chocolate stout. There's not much more we can say about that. Yeah, I've got nothing else to eat. I'm nice and full after that tea, so oh, that smells absolutely lovely. That's better. Yeah, that's more like it. Chocolate Clock chocolate stout by the Stewart Brewing Company in Edinburgh. So the little craft beers have redeemed themselves there. So that is it. Unless something amazing happens, I'm going to turn the camera off once I finish this. The bed's going up, and yeah, I'm going to say good night because it's not going to be that long before the sun comes up again, and yeah, the eye mask will be coming on. I'll catch you all in the morning. Thanks very much for watching so far. Please, if you're enjoying it, give it a quick thumbs up. Drop me a comment as well. I'll respond to every single one. Really appreciate it, and that helps me out, and it's free. So I'll catch you all in the morning. Good night. Well, good morning everyone. Not a bad night's sleep. It's just after 6 AM and there's some low cloud shrouding the location. There's a bit of rain forecast, so what I'm going to do is get a brew on with this great eye mask, get a brew on, get that down me, have a quick breakfast bar, get packed up and head off before the rain hits. So let's fire up the stove. Just a quick one to demonstrate that no trace has been left. Obviously it goes without saying, or it should go without saying, but nothing whatsoever apart from some flattened grass. So that's it for another video. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, like I said earlier on, please take the time, give it a quick thumbs up, and if you don't mind, just drop me a comment and I'll respond to every single one. If you're on Facebook, come and join our Facebook group, and if you are on Instagram, so is MCM Outdoors. Go and follow me on there if you want, and I share pictures when I'm doing things like this, so you might enjoy that too. Go and enjoy the great outdoors yourself. Always leave no trace, and I always like to remind everyone, let's try and get our younger generation enjoying the things that we do, learning to respect and look after the great outdoors, and get the next generation ready to go. I'll see you on the next video, and take care.